Mike and I see pretty eye to eye on the problems, and I actually even think, directionally the solution. It's the actual application of the solution, right? And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you guys hold kind of what I would consider dollar-denominated investable assets and gold, but no Bitcoin. And I think that the argument that the Bitcoin community is making, and just right in line with the gold community, is there needs to be something that changes. Now, whether it is an awareness and a let's change the system from almost inside the system, or it is an opting out, I think that's where the kind of divergence of beliefs happen. The piece that I think is really, really important to talk about is I fundamentally believe that we are going to see, just like we have seen with individuals, financial institutions, and now corporations, eventually central banks around the world are going to put Bitcoin in their reserves. And what we are going to see happen is that Bitcoin, just like it is the parachute for individuals, financial institutions, and corporations, it will become the parachute for those central banks as well. And so in some weird world, the thing that Mike is advocating against, or advocating that, hey, there are risks here, which again, there are risks, of course there are risks, is going to be the same thing that is adopted by every single one of those kind of members of the establishment. And so what I think is really important to kind of understand is having no exposure to this asset, in my opinion, is the wrong answer. If you have zero exposure, that's the wrong answer. Even if you say, I think that there is a 1% chance that we have a future world where Bitcoin is at the center of it, then you should have 1% exposure to the asset. But I find it very hard pressed, right? And remember, there's some very staunch critics of this that have recently capitulated. Elon Musk, Ray Dalio, Mark Cuban. I mean, just the list goes on and on and on of people who I think most folks would agree are intelligent, who are trying to get it right. They might not always get it right, but they're trying to get it right. And what they have all started to talk about is there is some future version of the world that includes this asset. We may all disagree on the severity of the success of the asset. We all may disagree on the importance of that asset for certain groups or certain organizations. But it is very, very hard to see a future version of the world where this asset does not play an important role for anyone. And it is also very, very difficult to see a world where the United States, or frankly, any superpower, decides to kind of sit this one out. And so I think that ends up back at kind of square one, which is, if this is going to be important in the world, and if this is going to be an open, decentralized digital protocol that is adopted by people somewhere in the world, you should probably be the one to adopt it so that you're not left behind. And I think that's kind of my message here is get off zero exposure. If you're a family office, if you're an institutional investor or an individual, having zero exposure at this point is the wrong answer, and you've got